Reggae interviews. Word sound power.
This is DJ 745. We are here for Reggae interviews, sitting alongside the UK's very own Clea Angel, a singer, songwriter who has a truly accomplished voice. Many of our viewers today will be familiar with her music, but today we also get to know the person behind the music. Blessings, Clea Angel.
Bless up yourself.
Give thanks for making the journey from Birmingham over to Leicester. I know we're not a million miles away, but sometimes when people are living quite close to each other, we never quite make the connection and things. So I want to welcome you into my hometown of Leicester.
It's beautiful to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
Cool. I feel as though your musical journey has always had this Leicester connection. I want to big up Serlene, the founder of Britain's Got Reggae, who also hails from here as well. But more on that later. I want to start by talking about a song that I first heard late last year. It's paying homage to the Queen of Reggae, Auntie Marcia Griffiths, who has been celebrating 60 years in music. Your version of Hurting Inside. What a big buzz there is on that single.
It's beautiful. Definitely, I wanted to do something to honour the Queen of Reggae, because it's a lady that I follow and study, and I think that she's so beautiful, the resilience, the time she spent in the business, and she's still here with us. We can look forward to seeing her perform, and she's been in the business like 60 years. So I thought, I love this song because when I was a little girl I used to watch this film called The Mighty Queen, and I used to always hear the song, but I didn't really know, I wasn't educated in reggae to know that this was the Queen of Reggae singing it. So when I got older and I heard it, I was like, wow, I love this song. And I just said, you know what, I want to do this song for her. And it's a beautiful song, and it's also a Bob Marley song, because obviously it's originally Bob Marley's song. Yeah. And then Marcia took it and done it herself. But yeah, I think it's a beautiful rendition, and it also speaks to things that, in my life that have happened to me, hurting inside, the pain, and things like that. So yeah, I've enjoyed this project of paying homage to the Queen.
Yeah. You just touched on this a moment ago, and yes, Marcia Griffiths recorded her version for the High Note recording label for one of Jamaica's first female producers, Sonia Pottinger. That was around about 1978, but it was actually Bob Marley and the Wailers that recorded that song around about 10 years earlier. So it's kind of nice to see that sort of full circle of you actually now as a UK artist covering that song as well.
It's great because when I listened to the original version, it had the harmonies, and it's like an acoustic set, and I was like, wow, you can hear the passion and the pain in the song. And then obviously when you hear Marcia's version, you hear the pain and the passion from her perspective. So I just thought, yeah man, this song is a brilliant song. And obviously if I knew I couldn't do it justice, I wouldn't have touched it, because I don't believe in touching people's songs. When if you're gonna do a cover, do over somebody's song, a rendition, you need to make sure it's going to sound on a level like how the original sounded. So I hope that I've done it justice.
Well, I think that I know that like I said to you, there's been a really big buzz on that song, and a lot of DJs across the world are hearing that song, playing that song as well. And as you said, it is really celebrating that really powerful legacy that Marcia Griffiths has. 60 years is no easy thing at all, and particularly I think for a female artist as well. I mean, the only other sort of like male artists I can sort of think of would be people like Max Romeo, that have probably made music for that length of time.
I agree. There's a lot of artists that would have been making music but they passed away, but to know that we can actually pay homage and honour her while she's alive, that is amazing. Because I've got a track with Gregory Isaac, all courtesy of King Jammys, and obviously I am honoured to be on the track, but I voiced it and he's passed away. So it's beautiful to know that you can honour a artist and they're alive, to hear it and to embrace it. So yeah.
And I think I am on social media recently. I actually saw a little clip of the video to the song being premiered by King Jammys with Marcia Griffiths live at the studios on stage. And some of the words that I think she sort of quoted were talented, beautiful, I love it. How does that make you feel?
Really good, because Lisa know that she's happy with the work that I put in, and definitely I done it from the heart. It's not a publicity stunt, it's not to get likes, it's just that I am an artist that pays homage to my greats, because without them I wouldn't be the artist that I am today. I listen to a lot of artists, Jacob Miller, you know, Peter Tosh, Bob Marley, Capleton, Bunty Killer, you know, Luciano, Garnet Silk. These are the artists that, you know, Burning Spears, these are the artists that I listen to daily, weekly. You know, I do listen to younger artists as well, like myself, but I'm really drawn to the old artists, because I feel like when they were singing back in them days, they were singing for a cause, they were singing for a purpose. You know, it was a way of life. Their music taught you something. It taught you about how to live, and, you know, the struggles, the triumphant things that happen. It just was a spiritual music. So that's why when I sing, I sing from the heart, sing from the spirit. But being able to have King Jammys and Marcia Griffiths come together, you know, and I done the song, I took it to big up my manager Jack Reuben, took it to him, the idea, and he said, yeah man, gonna get this out there. King Jammys loved it, and he said, you know what, let's put this out, you know, and do what you want to do, honor the Queen. So we done it, and the idea came that instead of us just, because we commissioned a picture for her, because I wanted to do a picture for her, because I wanted something for her to remember her 60th. She probably gets pictures all the time, which I thought, but the way how she acted on the interview, it seems like, you know, it was really something really beautiful. So we got the picture, obviously King Jammys and Jack, they got all of that done, got it to her. So we said, let's give it to her on stage. Now it's only a few people that can get Winford on stage. Like kind of last minute, really, you know. I've had the song for a while, but the idea to execute it was quite fast. And, you know, I'm just honored that, you know, remember, I'm an up and coming artist, they've never really heard of me before like that. So I'm coming here now, and I've got that done, and it was beautiful, and I cried when I watched it, because, you know, the journey that we've been through, especially Jack, we've been doing music for like 7 years together, and it's been a long, hard road, but, you know, we stuck together, and now we're here doing great things, and that's all I want to do, is do great things in the music
industry. Yeah. Well, I think that this new single, Hurting Inside, which is produced by King Jammys, I think King Spear as well, and also Jack Reuben as well. You're definitely onto a winner with that combination, with the two Kings and Jack Reuben there. So we give thanks for everything that you're doing. Let's share a little bit about this journey that you've had from Birmingham to 38 St Lucia Road, because I'm sort of thinking to myself, you know what, I've been to 38 St Lucia Road, I've been to Jammy Studio, and, you know, I think it holds such a spiritual place. If you're into music, that's somewhere that you'll definitely want to go to if you go into Kingston. Talk us through your first sort of footsteps into that studio.
Well, I've always wanted to go there, so everything was just surreal, because I'd done some things last year, went to Jamaica, and then this was the time now to actually, you know, do what we said we was going to do for a couple of years, because we've always knew that I was going to, you know, get to King Jammys through obviously Jack, and it happened. So obviously when I went there, I don't think I was that overwhelmed, because I love music so much, and I just wanted to get in there. I've watched countless videos of all the greats going in and out of King Jammy's studio, and I'm like, yes, I just want to get there. So obviously I was just voicing songs, writing songs, you know, building up a relationship with King Jammys. He's so nice. He's very, very susceptible to music, you know. I was giving him some modern stuff, and he's good with it. That's why I know a king like that will live on and on and on, because he works with all types of artists, you know what I mean. And I think that obviously he loves the vibes and the voice, and we're working on this album now, and once the album's finished, obviously we're going to take it to the world, because I've been around for a while, and as everybody can see, I haven't got an album. I have an EP, which is called Many Moods of Clear Angel, which is available now, and that's got about 8 tracks on it. That was just like a taster to see how it would, you know, blend with the world if I put out a little mini album. So now we're ready for the album, because obviously we want to take it to the world globally, and, you know, this track is doing well. It's released on Reggaeville, VPAL, VP Records, and it's doing well. It's trackling around the place. So I have so much original stuff that we're going to be dropping soon as well for 2025. So yeah, it's going to be big. But King Jammys, it's the greatest thing that could have happened to me. It's something that I've wanted to do for years. You know, you dream of things, you don't really think that it's going to happen. You know what I mean? And as I said, I would never have been able to work with such a great person the way I'm working with them if it wasn't for Jack, because obviously he's pushed it for years, because all he wants is me to break out into the world. He doesn't even really want to deal with England like that, in terms of, you know, I think I've done most things that I can do in the UK, you know, in terms of getting myself out there, promoting myself, making a name. Now it's time for the world. And it's time for a different spectrum.
Because I think your connection with King Jammys goes back further, because I remember that you actually were featured on one of his productions, a rhythm called the Follicles rhythm. There was also the song Flirting Around, the collab that you mentioned a few moments ago with Gregory Isaacs on the album Rebirth of the Cool Ruler. It sounds like you've been working with Jammys for a few years now, even though we're just starting to sort of see the releases coming through, and obviously we're going to talk about the album later on as well. Tell us about the Gregory Isaacs song. Was that one that you selected yourself to feature on, or was that a song that King Jammys presented to you that he felt that your voice was right for?
Well, he'd previously done an album, I think it was Dennis Brown and Friends, with other artists before, and obviously Jack is very close to him, so he was aware that this album was coming, and obviously he pitched his artist. He said, come Jammys, put her on the album. So again, I would have never, like, out of everybody who's on the album, I'm the unknown one. You know, how did this unknown artist get on this album with the Cool Ruler? And yeah, so it was because of Jack why that happened. But we executed it, and it was a beautiful song. And when we was doing it, it was like, you know, I was like, oh, how are we gonna sing a song, you know, and it's gonna, you know, be on a level like Gregory? And Jack was like, no man, come make us sit down and think about it. And then it's a very nice song, and it seemed like me and him was in the booth doing it, even though he's passed away. You know what I mean? And that's an honour, because, you know, the Cool Ruler, but the artist, one of the greats, the legends. So yeah, man, it's an honour. So
and that's one of the songs that I think you have out that's been released previously, that's actually also on vinyl as well, because that album was actually released, I think, by VP as a vinyl album as well.
Which is right, so it's all over the world. And obviously, as you said, we've been gradually doing songs. I think I've been being tested. Give her this rhythm, let's see how she can deal with it. Do that, let's see how she can deal with it. And then that's how it goes. You know, when I do break out, everybody's going to be like, oh, where did she come from? But, you know, I've been here for ages doing it, you know, and that's what it is. It's just about consistency. Everybody's journey is different from everybody's journey. So somebody might say, oh, Clea should have broke out a long time, but it's within its time. It's when it's supposed to happen. You know what I mean? And this is the time now. There's a lot of things, you know, people have music and then they have their personal life. You got to sort out certain things in your personal life. I've always been juggling my personal life with my music, so there's never I'll juggle my personal life and leave the music, or I'll juggle my music and leave the personal life. The two of them have to balance. Exactly. So, you know, you have to think about all them things. So that's probably why I haven't had an album yet, because I've been working with various people, you know, throughout the years, and I don't really feel like just grabbing different tracks from producers and putting it on an album. That's not an album. An album is something you work towards. You be creative. You know, you have live musicians. You get people together, and you tell a story. You tell your story, people's story, whoever's story. That is an album to me. Yeah.
I mean, whilst you've, I think, been working with Jammys, you've also had the pleasure of working with one of his sons as well, John. There was this big rhythm that came out last summer, wasn't there? 2024. The rhythm was called the Hoover Rhythm, and your track is officially called It's Crazy, but I'm going to call it Put Down the Gun. Because that's how everyone knows that song, right?
But we didn't call it that because that was too cliche to call it that, and obviously some people might not like the title. So I thought It's Crazy. That is, it's crazy, man. The gun shed, the bloodshed, the killings of the youth, you know, we're not educating them enough about these things. So it was a song that I wrote about 2 years ago, because I had the rhythm for a while, and then went to Jamaica. John's a lovely man, like, he's very creative, he's like a mad scientist, and the song was really good. And obviously the other tunes on that rhythm are wicked. You got Sanchez, you got, you know, loads of artists on the rhythm. Interest, that there's as a lineage. There's loads of Sanchez, I said him. Loads of artists are on it, so it's nice. The mix, the juggling is proper. So big up John, because when I came from Jamaica, that was the first song that actually followed me, so it was good. So and it got a good airplay, and obviously it's a message song, isn't it? So nice.
I still sort of question though in my mind that we are artists like yourself, we're still having to write lyrics along those lines of putting down guns and things because of this crazy world that we're living in. What's your take on the world that we're in at the moment?
Why, if you don't have night, you can't have day. Things just have to happen now, they happen. But if we can be, that's why I study my artists, because there's loads of artists before me who have been a revolution for the things that have been going on, the things we talk about in song, the things we see. We can make a change, you know what I mean? So all I can say is that we just got to try and live in unity and love. That's the only thing we can do. There's so many things going on around the world what we can't really stop. And we haven't got the power over it. It's the almighty, the higher power that says what's to happen. So all we can do is play our part, you know what I mean? And I don't want to play my part as a contributor of like slackness or negativity. I've got kids, so my message, I want it to be clean, and I want it to be, what I'm saying, in a beautiful way.
Yeah. Now, taking things back a little bit further, maybe for some of our viewers that maybe are listening to your music for the very first time, hearing about you for the first time, you grew up in Handsworth in Birmingham, and share with us a little bit about what was life like for a young Claire Angel.
Well, when I was a little girl, I was always vibrant and always was singing and always was out there, but the environment I was around, I wasn't really encouraged to do so. So I always thought that I was just loud and just cantankerous and just mischievous, but really I was very creative. I was like a mad hatter. Okay. So obviously when I grew up now, my family discovered that I can sing, and then that's when I was allowed to be more creative. That's probably when I was reached about 6, 7, 8, because from 3 years old I was singing all of Whitney Houston songs, all of Michael Jackson songs. I loved Lauryn Hill. I loved them kind of music, and I never used to sing reggae. I used to just listen to it, because obviously my dad was a sound man, so I was always around the sound system, always around new music, going to record shops with my dad, Don Christie's and those record shops. I used to go when I was a little girl with him, and he used to choose his records, buy his records. So I was really savvy to that. And obviously Handsworth was a place where it was full of reggae people in those times, in the 80s and the 90s. I know I was a little girl, but I used to sit on top of the stairs and watch when my dad used to take the sound out. It would leave on a Thursday night, and it wouldn't come back till a Monday morning, you know what I mean? And I'd always be at the top of the stairs watching everybody with the boxes and bringing in this and that. And yeah, it was just a musical experience for my family anyway. Yeah,
it almost sort of sounds like, sort of like music and reggae music has been part of your life pretty much from birth, because obviously, it's within your DNA. You said your dad's a sound man. He had a sound called, I think, Wadat Sound, and then Black Star Sound in Reading as well.
You really do your research, don't you, sir?
Give thanks. He, I think that it's almost like a sponge. As a child, you're sort of like soaking up all these things that are happening subconsciously without even realizing it's happening. It's kind of like sort of being embedded into you. And even just from some of the things that you've said today in our reasoning about some of those sort of like foundation rhythms and things, I think it must just sort of stem from childhood.
Yeah, definitely, because me and my dad's got a song called These Things in Life, and my dad was a different sound man because he could sing. So that's the times when you run the rhythm and the version. You play the song, then you flip it over to the version, and then the sound man start for toast upon it. Him used to sing, and he used to sound like Dennis Brown, so I used to always sing that song. It's not every day we're gonna be the same way, and I love that song. So when I got the opportunity, was in the studio one day with Spears, and he played King Spears and he played the rhythm. I was like, Dad, come, let's do it. So we just did it on the spot. And these are the memories that I remember. As you said, I was sucking it up like a sponge, but I didn't really know that I was going to be Claire Angel, be somebody that they're calling your name and that. I didn't know that. I didn't know I was going to be so talented just by listening to, because my dad never not encouraged me, but it wasn't really like, you know, you sit down and you make me study music. It was never like that. I just used to be around him. Now I'll tell you a story with his needle. So I used to always sneak and play songs on his turntable, but he never wanted me to touch the needle because the needle was the most expensive
Sacred.
part.
Yep.
And it's like if the needle broke, I worries.
Yeah.
So, you know, I wasn't supposed to touch it, but I was curious and I wanted to touch it, and I used to watch you all the time and I was fine. And one day I must have broke the needle and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die now. He came home, obviously I had to tell him, Dad, I broke the needle. And he's like, yes man, me know, so you did that trouble, me know you go. He says, and I thought I was going to either get slapped. Well, my dad never slapped me, so that's a lie, but I thought I was going to get into huge trouble.
Yeah.
And he said, I've got a new needle, I'm going to show you how to do it. You have to be really careful the way you put it down, and you can't scratch it. And then he taught me how to do that, and I felt good. So I can string up a sound and play a sound.
Yeah.
I have a sound, my dad's sound, Black Star sound, it's my sound. So if I want to launch out the sound system tomorrow, you know, I can do so. However, I'll concentrate on my musical side right now.
You've kind of sort of like touched on some of the artists that, you know, were inspirations for you when you were sort of growing up. People like the Crown Prince, Dennis Emmanuel Brown. I think you've also sort of like talked about Gregory, the Cool Ruler. We've got Bob Marley. Who are the artists at a deeper level beyond that you were really, really sort of like, you know, sort of like appreciating their music? Who were those other artists?
So Luciano, he is an artist that when I was younger and I was going through stuff, his albums, you know, they used to get me through stuff, and I loved his music. I loved his spiritual, you know, flavour on reggae. I always loved Capleton. So when I was young, now I'm allowed to play with the turntable. I now used to make my own tapes. That's when we had tapes and dats and things like that. Make up my own tapes with Bunty Killer on it, Beanie Man on it. You know, Bunty Killer's one of my artists because I love his philosophy and I like the way he talks, and I like the way he's gave a lot of artists a platform in the business, and I love his style and his longevity. So he's an artist that I would definitely love to do a collab. Luciano, definitely love to do a collab. Lukie D is one of my artists because when I was a young girl, one day I was driving down the road in my dad's van. He was on the way to go and pick up some of the sound, and he said, Clea, you think he can sing? Listen to this singer. And when I listened to the singer, it was Lukie D, and I was like, wow, his voice is amazing. So he's always been an artist that I love. And you know, I love Mama Nancy. You know, I love Lady Saw, Marion Hall. You know what I mean? There's a lot of artists that I love. I love Peter Tosh, Jacob Miller. Really love Jacob Miller. Yeah. Judy Mowat. Yeah. And I like a lot of R&B artists as well, but we had that about reggae now. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, you grew up in a generation where Mummy and Daddy were playing reggae 24/7. Now, a question to you: do you think that the youths of today, particularly in the UK, are still getting that exposure to reggae music?
Not really, because obviously their music is different. They're gravitating to a different music, and I feel like if it's not my era, it's not really being passed down. However, when the new songs are being made, they're taking things from old songs. Like, all right, the modernist song I could say that the youths would gravitate to now is by one of the Marley's grandchildren.
YG Marley. Yeah, Praise Driver.
So that is the biggest example of a song from back in the day coming and modernising to grab the youths them. And I think that's very, very strategic and very, very excellent to keep the music and the legacy going, because when it starts with the actual Bob Marley song, then it goes into it. So there's no way that the youth shouldn't know about where they're coming from, because most of the music they're doing now, there's no riff on earth that you can make that hasn't been made already. You know what I mean? So it's definitely good to know that, you know, 70 years of Bob Marley has been on the road. You know what I mean? And he's still the number one on the iTunes in the reggae charts, and you know, reggae is alive. So the youths they are getting some of it, but I doubt they're going to be going to a revival party anytime soon.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that the way that we are taking in music nowadays is so different to when we were probably younger, where you'd go to a record shops and things. You know, now it's just on your mobile phone, and I think that people need to have access to things instantly, and they don't have that sort of like that patience to actually listen to music for, say, longer than 20 or 30 seconds. And I think that, you know, as a lot of selectors are probably guilty of this as well, because when you go to a dance, you hear literally 30 seconds of the song and it switches. People don't really get to tune in to the message.
And I think that's right. So that's why I buy albums, and I like to hear the track in my car, because the radio is very paramount for that, because you will, you know, hear the songs. Like I think like Smooth FM, Heart FM, them channels, they play out the songs. And I listen to them stations constantly in my car, because they always give me ideas of songs. I'm like, oh, that song sounds wicked, I wonder how it would sound if I revamp it. So I just feel like we just need to keep it alive and don't let it die out, and play the songs when you're at home, play them out, listen to what the songs are saying, know the meaning of the song, because sometimes we're singing songs we don't even know what they're saying, you know what I mean? That's not how I feel like music was and should be.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, you know, as a country here now, the United Kingdom, we've got such a strong history of reggae music, you know, bigging up some of the eldest people like Tipper Irie, Maxi, Peter Huntingale, Coffee, Steel Pulse, Janet Kay, Deborah Glasgow, and then, you know, some of the younger generations, Christopher Ellis, Empress Imani, Royal Sounds, Sonia, Stylo G. I kind of feel as though things are kind of healthy, and then we add your name to that pot as well. Yeah, man.
Reggae and dancehall right now is quite healthy. I do feel like we need somebody to break out, you know, other than Stylo G, because obviously Stylo G, Gappy Ranks, they're the breakout artists, that, because before them it was Maxi Priest, and that was a big gap. You know what I mean? So, you know, if it's not me, it's going to be, as you said, Empress Imani, Sonia, Raphaelia. There's so many artists that are doing their thing. LA Gray. There's so many artists that are going in with things right now. So, you know, we just need to come together as an industry as well. You know, working together is good. Keeping shows together is good. You know, having a bill and saying, oh, can you get any artists? Yeah. You draw for our artists over there, you know, and we make the thing collective, you know, but we're not really doing that. Everybody's doing their own thing, which is not a bad thing, but yeah.
I think we could be stronger together.
Definitely in England, because when you go to Jamaica, when I took my trip to Jamaica, it's different. The music's different. They play different types of music on the radio. Their style is different. Music. That's what dominates Jamaica. Reggae music. There's always something going on some corner. You know what I mean? There's always a studio settings. And as a musician, I feel like that's what, you know, England is cold and miserable, and there's nothing really for me to write about that's happy. You know what I mean? Yep. I give thanks for everything when I have, but when I go to Jamaica and I'm waking up to sun and my breakfast, and it's just different. And then you go into King Jammy's studio. I mean, what can you want?
Can you ask for?
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Another name that I feel that we have to mention, and this is because I know that you've done quite a lot of recordings with him, Bucky Joe, Buzzwack. You know, we've got to mention him, because I think you've been working together, I'd say, for around about 10 years at least, putting out so many sort of big songs, rhythms like the Youth Man rhythm, Run the Wicked Away, the Happy Times rhythm. How did you and Buzzwack, or Bucky Joe I should say, first come to work together?
So he was friends with my late partner Milo Brown Seaton, which is Bibi Seaton's son, and you know, they formed a relationship musically, and obviously he brought me in, met him, so I've known him for over about 15 years. You know, he's a good friend of mine, and yeah, his rhythms are really good, and I really loved his work rate and how he really cares about other artists' careers. So, you know, when I put out Run the Wicked Away, I'd just run Britain's Got Reggae, so it's like we dropped that song at that time, and it just kicked off my whole. And I have to thank Serline, because at the time I'd had a little name, but I wasn't really being taken seriously in the UK like that. And when I entered Britain's Got Reggae, I swore I wasn't going to win, because I swore that London's biased. They ain't going to give it to no country girl, as they say. You know what I mean? So I didn't really think I was going to win it, but I know I got talent, and I just went up there and done my thing. So when I did win it now, I was like, wow. So obviously Serline became my manager at that time, because my lord passed away. He was the manager previously, and then we went on the road. We done shows, we done Julia Marley, we done all over we did loads of festivals and stuff like that. So yeah, that really kicked kicked off my career.
Right. Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
in a big way, to make me start getting more revenue in Europe. Went to Rotterdam. That was awesome. You know what I mean? So big up Celine. Britain's Got Reggae was the thing that put Clear Angel on the map, and in a certain way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then obviously I did X Factor, but you know, I was already on the map then, and yeah, that was all right. But the less we talk about that, the better.
Cool. One of the other songs that you recorded with Buzzwack Bucky Joe was a really song it's a very powerful song. And you know how at the start you said to me that if you're going to sing over somebody's song, you've really got to do it justice. You know which song I'm talking about, don't you?
Jack Promise.
The Godfather, Johnny Osborne's Jack Promise. And do you know what the funny thing is? The first time that I heard that song, I heard you sing it live, actually here in Leicester on the Julia Marley tour.
Okay, yes, because I think that's
2016.
Yeah, that's the first time I actually sang it. But I think I voiced Run the Wicked Away and Jack Promise at the same time, but obviously Run the Wicked Away went out first. But yeah, that song's inspiration because years ago Johnny Osborne came to my house, and I remember a little girl him coming, and we used to always Truths and Rights, you know, that song, and I used to always love Jack Promise because just the beat and the way it starts, it just chills you, and it was a song I grew up on. So I thought to myself, you know what, let me see how many females have covered this song. And I seen that no females ain't covered it, and I thought, wow, that's mad. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to cover this because I feel like I can do it justice. And yeah, I love the song. Johnny Osborne's heard it, he said he likes it, sounds good. So yeah, but I am an original girl because it seems like I've got a lot of covers, but
no, not really. But those two songs, I mean, you know, The Hurting Inside and that Jack Promise, I mean, there's something very special. And I always sort of believe that actually there are certain songs that you kind of just want to leave alone, don't even try to sort of cover them. But you've taken on two songs that are really sort of big heavyweight songs. You've put your own stamp on it though. That's what I honestly feel. Yeah,
I agree. I used most of the riffs that Johnny used, and then I just put my own riffs under it, so you can hear his riffs and my riffs, because you want to keep the essence of the song. But I always still say that the way he sings it is effortless, man. He's just, you know. So but yeah, it's a beautiful song, and you know, it's paying homage to the Lord and saying, you know what, I'm not going to break my promise, I'm going to keep my promise and keep to the Most High. So it's a beautiful song, and look how long it's been around, over 30 years old. You know what I mean?
I think Johnny Osborne, he was actually touring the UK last year, 2024, and again, when he performs on stage, it's so effortless. It's like,
and I haven't seen him live yet.
Okay.
So I need to, because I know he's at the Jazz Cafe, but every time he's here, I can't get to him because I'm busy or whatever, but I definitely want to take him in. I've taken him in on the internet live loads of times, but I'd like to just, definitely. Just like the first time I seen Burning Spears was not last year, the year before. I took my mum to see him, and that was wicked. Yeah, man, he was wicked, man.
Yeah. Another studio that we have to talk about, I mean, we've kind of talked about Buzzwack that are based down in South London, Brixton. We have to take a trip up to Perryville. Yeah. We need to talk about Dilly and Stingray as well, don't we? Because you've been working with Stingray, I think, for even longer. I'd probably sort of say maybe 14, 15, 16 years or around about those sort of times.
Yeah, man, Stingray's good, man. Obviously, I got that link through Tenor Star, and we started going up there. Big up Morris, big up Dilly, big up Raymond, big up all of the Stingray family. And I homed a lot of my craft. But before that, I was working with Morriman as well, Mellow Vibes. Okay. So he was, you know, most of my early songs that used to come out that kind of built me, it was from the Mellow Vibes camp, and then we went to Stingray camp, and we used to go down there every 2 weeks and voice songs. And yeah, man, it was good. I had a song called T-shirt and Panties, and I did not want to voice this song, but it was a wicked cover, and it just ended up being that was the breakout song for Clea, you get me? And that got me loads of shows. First ever show I done was Marcia Griffiths and I can't remember the group, but yeah, it was a Marcia Griffiths show anyway, and that was amazing. Yeah, that was good. That was my first ever show with Tenor Star. Me and him did it together.
Okay.
And then after that, I used to start getting shows off my own back.
Yeah.
But yeah, Stingray were a big part of my career because obviously they were putting out the songs from London.
Yep.
So that was helping me a lot.
Well. Yeah. And I think that I know we sort of talked a little bit about Britain's Got Reggae, and of course you were the first winner of Britain's Got Reggae, but you also did a song with Raphelia, Fly Away, for Stingray as well. And of course Raphelia, we know, has obviously done big things with Britain's Got Reggae as well.
Definitely. So yeah, Raphelia's my girl, man. I love her so much. So obviously I think this is before she'd won. Was it before she'd won Britain's Got Reggae? Or probably no, it was probably after. Anyway, she started working with Stingray, and obviously we started working together. And then one day we went to the studio, and that was everything that was there. And we just writ it on the spot, sang in the booth together on the spot.
Wow.
And yeah, we've even been talking about doing another song together. But obviously she's part of Soul Rebel now, so she's all over the place doing her thing, and it's really good, man. Trust me. So yeah, everybody's doing their thing in the music. I love it.
Yep.
Everybody's finding their way.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's really good. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about like your live performances. So I've only ever seen you once in Leicester. This was on the Julian Marley show, but you've also sort of performed alongside so many other greats. I mean, one of the big ones that comes to mind was from last year, 2024, the Warlord, Birmingham. What a show that was.
In the building. Yeah, that was good, man. Yeah. Born to Killer, man. I've always wanted to do a Born to Killer show, but I never, he hasn't been able to come here for years, so we didn't know when that was going to happen. So when he was coming here, I thought, oh my God, I got to be on that show. Oh, I need to meet the Warlord, definitely. I've also got a track that I've done. He's got Look Into My Eyes, Tell Me What You See. So I've covered that track. Okay. And I really wanted him to hear it. So yeah, it's on a mixtape. So I've got a mixtape called Clea Angel Meets King Jammys, and it's on the end of that mixtape. So it's never been released, but it was a song that I don't know what I want to do with it, but definitely was paying homage to, the 5-star general.
Of course,
yes.
of course.
So
I mean, being on a bill with the Warlord, the 5-star general, in your hometown, what more can you say?
I'm speechless.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I went to the London show. That was awesome, and it was just nice to see him in the country after so many years. You know what I mean? And nice to be able to take him in for the first time, because I've never seen him live before. Okay. Because the last time he was here was Stratford Rex, and I didn't get to go to that show. But yeah, man, Warlord in the building, man. It was nice. Yeah. He did come here the year before to do some promo and stuff. Yeah. I didn't get to see him then neither, but yeah, I got to meet him, talk to him and everything, and it was nice, man. Big up the Warlord.
Yeah. In terms of like 2025, we've kind of sort of like talked about some of the stuff that singles have been released over the past sort of year or two. There's also other singles like Bring Back the Vibes. I mean, we could talk about a lot of those other things, but I want to know a little bit more about what's happening in the future. You touched on working together with Jammys for an album. How much of that has been completed so far? Well,
I'd say the majority of it.
Okay.
So we're just gonna plan up some stuff. Got some things kicking off for Reggae Month, so look out for that. And then I'm not going to tell you too much, but trust me, I'll be back to let you know. You'll be like, wow, this track's out and that track's out. You'll be telling me, so definitely.
So quite a few singles in the pipeline before the full album release as well.
Yep, I've been working hard. I'm writing, I'm voicing, I'm in the studio, at least 3 times a week. So we're getting this stuff done, man, because I just want to write, have loads of songs, and just put them out, give them to people, be a songwriter for others. Yeah, so it's just writing mode right now I'm on, and then obviously the shows will start to kick off in like May times, so there's a lot to come.
Yeah. There's also another song that we have to talk about as well, Peckings.
Oh, yes.
While I'm Alive, Rate Me in Life. That was a massive song that I think, 2022, 23, massive.
Yeah, man, big song. Me and Jack Reuben wrote that song, and we always wanted to write a song paying homage to people now while they're alive instead of waiting. We always hear some dead songs and people honouring people when they're not here, and I'm just thinking, well, when you honour me when I'm not here, I can't feel that, you know what I mean? I'm dead. So we want to give people that, just like it was good for me to be able to give Marcia Griffiths a picture for her 60th Diamond Jubilee, while she's alive. So that was where that song come from. And obviously Peckings sent us the rhythm, which I've always wanted to work with Peckings, so it was really good the way it came around. Heard the rhythm and I thought, yeah, man. And obviously, you know, it's a Dennis Brown rhythm. So I was like, yeah, man, this rhythm's wicked. So we wrote the song and then we put it out and then bam, we just seen it get out there, man.
Out there.
Yeah.
And that's the song again that I think has been getting loads and loads of sort of support for the last few years by DJs across the world as well. Just because I think that it's the meaning, the message behind it, because it is so true what you actually sing about in that song. I mean, you know, I think that we're in this sort of like world or generation where sometimes there are some groups of people that want to be the first person to post on social media that this has happened to this person and whatnot. And I think maybe we need to move away from that.
Exactly, and start talking about people's achievements, what they're doing now in life. You know, there's too much depressing things every day, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I don't want people to be coming to my funeral. So you hear stories where a man in life needed help, you know, some money to do this, but nobody couldn't help him. And then when he died, his casket was like 6,000, his wake was like 12,000. I'm like, so why didn't you help him while he was in alive? You know what I mean? Why are you waiting to throw away all this money? I mean, flowers, I'm not putting anybody down for bringing flowers and doing all of those things for funerals, because that is what is done. You want to pay homage to your loved one when they passed away, but buy me some flowers when I'm alive. You know what I mean? Give me something when I'm alive. If I need it, help me when I'm alive, because you cannot help a dead man.
True. Well, look, I want to really give thanks to you for sharing just a little bit of an insight. And I know that there's a lot more that we could talk about, but we're going to save that for a part 2 as well when the album comes as well. I also need to big up part of your management team as well, bigging up to Kaz as well.
You know, I need to big up my management team. Jack Reuben, big up yourself. Kaz Promotions, my baby. Big up yourself, girl. Doing a very, very good job. You know what I mean? It's not just about being a part of the management team, it's a part of my personal team, because they know a lot what's going on, what the public don't know, and they know how to deal with me. So it's not just anybody that can work with an artist. True. You know, you have to be able to roll with the punches. Sometimes the artist ain't nice, sometimes sometimes I can be a right nightmare, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's just because I have such passion and love for the music. So I'm learning every day how to curb myself and how not to be a diva, because I don't want that title, you know what I mean? So, yeah, but Kaz is always by my side. You know, I've known her for about 15 years now. Okay. And she's always said, Clea Angel, just like Jack. They've never left my side, even when many would have, you know what I mean? They have never gone nowhere, because they know that,
they believe in you.
Exactly. They believe in everything. They don't just believe in the money side or the music side. They believe in me. So you can't get better than that.
No. Well, look, once again, we give thanks to you for your time. Keep doing what you're doing. We're looking forward to pushing Herding Inside and the other singles that are forthcoming in 2025 and beyond as well. You're definitely onto a winner. Give thanks.
Thank you, Reggae Interviews, for having me. Word, sound, power.
Enough respect. Bless.
Reggae Interviews. Word, sound, power.